Hello, and welcome back to this CATIA course. I am Manthan Devani, your course instructor for this course. So let's begin for the day. So last time we had saw the profile command, rectangle command, the circles command in the previous sessions. So now let's look at the further options which we have in the profile tab. Next comes the ellipse. So here also we have different options. So I will just drag them outside. So here you have first one is the ellipse option. So let's see how this works. Click on the first point, second point, there you have the ellipse. I also it requires me to provide the third point that is for the width of my ellipse. So you see, first is the center point, then is the major axis of this uh, ellipse, and then the minor axis of the ellipse. That's the ellipse option for you. First define the center, then the major axis, then the minor axis. Yes, let's move ahead. The next option over here we have is the parabola. So we just need to define the center point for parabola and it will draw the parabola for you. You see, if I the first point, define the horizontal axis we want, then the first point and the last point. That's parabola. Next we have is the hyperbola. So it's the commands for using the parabola and hyperbola are the same. Like first we need to define the center points, then the major or minor axis or the axis line which we want. Then select the first of starting point of your parabola or hyperbola and then the end point. Will create a parabola and hyperbola according to which commands you have selected. So let's look at this again. For making an hyperbola, first select the uh, origin point, then select your axis in which you want. Select the starting point, select the end point. That's the hyperbola for you. Next option in the conic menu is the conic itself. So let's see this one. For the conic option, first need to define the lines around which the cone will be created. So this will be my first line, this will be my second line, and between this my conical section will come. So here you can see this one is made, this command is used. Here I will have the cone. That's the conic command for us. Let's move ahead. So let's now look at different line commands that we have. To simply, as we did earlier, to bring the all the commands at once, click on the drop down menu. Just drag the front tab outside, and we have all the line commands. The first one is the simple line. However line you want, you can draw the lines. You see, these are the simple line commands. The next is the infinite line. So this is basically used for defining the axis of various 2D drawings. So you see horizontal axis. If I want a vertical axis, you can just click here simply the vertical line. In this sketch tools, you have vertical option. You just click here and you have a vertical infinite line. So you can zoom out and see that it has a vertical line. So as you can see that I have a circle here. Uh, Sometimes these sketches that we have that do not appear on a screen but are present can create errors in the future. So always try to use this option, that is fit all in, and you will see that what all sketches you have, and it will prevent you from making such errors. So you see, I zoom out how much infinitely, and these lines will always be present because these are infinite lines. I just these are the for the infinite line option. Next is the bitangent line. Like we had tritangent circle, we also have bitangent line. Like this line will be tangent to two curves. So for using this, we first need to have two circles. Let's define two circles. Now I will use the bitangent line. I want the line tangent to this circle and this circle. So you see, line is created tangent to these circles. Does not necessarily needs to have a circle only. You can have two curves and you can select those two curves and the line will be tangent to that. So let's see, like if we have two curves, this one and this is the second curve which I have. And now select the bitangent line. And I will select these two curves. So you see a tangent line is drawn here also. So you can select any two curves and the tangent and the line will be tangent to both of those curves. So that's the bitangent line. Next we have bisecting line. So as we all know, the bisector is the intersection of two uh, angles. For that we need to make again we need to have two lines or two curves, whatever like we want, and I will use the bisector line and I will select this line and I will select this line. So you see a bisecting line, line made bisecting to these lines is made. Bisecting line is also an infinite line, so you can zoom out however you like. It will always be present. So that's the bisecting line. The last here line, the last option we have on the line command is the line normal to curve. So as the name suggests, this line is normal to the curve that we have selected. So like I have a curve over here. I will select this option, line normal to curve, and I will select this curve. So you see, I have a line normal to this. And so now the curve has two normals, one on the downside and one on the upper side. So we need to define the direction in which we want the line. So here you can see that its line is perpendicular to a tangent passing through this curve. That means the line is normal to the curve. So draw a circle and select this line, line normal to curve. It will ask me where do I want the line, inside, outside, or below. Here you can see the perpendicularity symbol, which indicates that this line is perpendicular to this green line, and this green line is tangent to this circle. It means that this line is indirectly normal to this curve that we have made. So that's the different line options we have. Let's move ahead. So next we have the axis. That means the dotted line or the center line which we referred to as is known as the access by CATIA. You can it's like the line command only, but it appears as a centered line. You see, that's the axis line. Next, we have point commands. You can also see that we have different a drop-down menu near the point. So you have these many types of points. So let's look at them, each and every one of them. The first one is a normal point by clicking. Like just click wherever you want and the point will be placed there. I want a line on the horizontal axis, I can place it. I want a line on the vertical axis, I can have it. I want a point on the origin, let's click it. You have points all over there. Next is the point by using coordinates. As the name suggests, we need to define the distance from the horizontal axis and from the vertical axis. Let's say 60 from the horizontal axis and 50 from the vertical axis. So here you can see 60 from the horizontal distance and 50 from the vertical distance. Also, we can define it by using the polar coordinates. Like I will give the radius say 30 and degree as 60. You see it has made a line from this point only because it was a point earlier. We had selected this point earlier, so it will create a line at 60 degree of 30 millimeter and create a point there. So that's line point using coordinates. Next we have equidistant points. For this command to use, we need to have a line on which these equidistant points can be placed. Let's first create a line, random line, and then we'll use this equidistant point command and select this line. There it will ask you how many points do we need on this line. So you can put in any value you want. So if I give 5 points, I will have 5 equidistant points. And you can see that the spacing between each point is 16.66 mm. Because we have defined the length, we cannot change the spacing. So we will have to accept with that. Now you see, each point is placed 16.66 mm from each other. That's the equidistance points option. Next, we have the intersection point. As the name suggests, we need to have two lines or two curves intersecting each other, and uh, to find that intersecting point, we will use this command. So CATIA provide we need no longer need to worry about the point where we want the intersection. Let's make two random shapes. One I select rectangle, another I want a circle. I will use this command intersection point and I will select this circle and this line. So you see, a point is generated here at the intersection point. If I select this vertical line on this circle, point will be generated at this intersection. Intersection points can be made on two lines also, two intersecting lines also, two or more intersecting lines, whichever you want. I will select this line, and you see it will give me the intersection point over here where the two lines are intersecting. So it is very handy and useful when we need to create complex geometries. Okay, so the next is the projection point. So this is used when we uh, when we have a 3D object and we want uh, endpoints of that 3D object to be projected in our 2D current 2D sketch. So this point we will look when we will be modeling 3D components. Okay, so that's all about the points that we have. So this was the profile tab that we have covered in this session. So the basic idea of this is to have to provide us with the various shapes and to help us to draw various shapes that we require for our modeling. If we have observed closely, we can see that many of these features can be used interlinked, like the lines can be made from profiles, profiles can be made from lines, rectangles can be made from lines and profiles as well. So the idea of giving these options separately is to do our work uh, to do our work more simpler. Like to make a rectangle from line, we have to use line command 4 times. Instead, CATIA provides the option to make a rectangle or even a hexagon by directly by using floor clicks. So that's the advantage that CATIA gives us for this 2D sketching. That's the all options that we have in the profile tab. And that's all for today's session. I hope you have liked this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.